Hello. We're here for a little update with the Chase Library, and we have Claire Gradone, who is the executive director, and Patti Tworek. And they're going to tell us a little bit about what they were doing this winter, which we talked about before it happened, and then they're going to tell us what's coming up in the next month or so. So can you tell us about the author series that you had discussed the last time we met?
Sure. And thank you for having us today. We had a winter author series. The first author we had was John Whalen, who is the author of I Am of Cape Cod. And he came and talked about the very interesting people that he had in his book, all sorts of people that live on Cape Cod but not necessarily have a role that you would see in politics or something like that. Just ordinary folk on Cape Cod, and it was very interesting. Then we had Paul Compricos, who is the author of The Gray Lady. That's his most recent book. He also does some ghostwriting for Clive Cussler, so it was a very entertaining talk about how that works, and it was very interesting. And then our last speaker that we had in March was not an author. It was Ed Yasuna, who is a Harwich resident, who is a retired English teacher, and he gave a talk on what to read next, great books, 250 pages or less, basically for book clubs, some great book club suggestions.
Well, that's great. I did attend the John Whalen talk, and that was absolutely wonderful. He's a great speaker. And in fact, I picked up a copy of his little book, The Little Sock Pirate,
Yes.
which I read to my grandchildren last month, and they enjoyed it greatly. So he was really entertaining and very, very interesting in his process, the way he talked about his process of meeting people, too. So I enjoyed that one. I was sorry to miss the others, but I'm sure they were all fabulous.
They were. Ed was particularly interesting, too, because he spent time in Finland, Norway, that area of the world, and so his recommendations were often authors that you would not necessarily know about, but really good topics. And because he taught English, you know, he looks for plot and character development, and he just was fascinating. He spent a lot of time answering questions about his book recommendations.
So books that would be interesting for book clubs to really get into and discuss.
Absolutely. Kind of enduring themes that you can always spend time discussing. So really quite interesting.
Great.
Yeah. And we have one more coming up.
Yes, we do. On May 15th, we have something different once again. We are having John Serafoli, who is an author, but he is also a chef, and he has written cookbooks, including the Cape Cod Chef's Table, which is great recipes from chefs around the Cape. He's also written a book on Italian-American food in New England, which I think would be very interesting. He's also written a couple of children's books on cooking. So once again, we have an adult author who has done some children's things. And I'm sure, I hope there's some foodies out there that are really interested in coming to hear this.
And again, this is a free series, is that correct?
That's right.
But you like people to call to make a reservation, or
No,
can they just show up
they can just
at the
show up.
library? And the date is Tuesday, the 15th of May.
At 2 p.m.
At 2
p.m. Okay, great.
Yes, so that should be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
And then the very next day, we have our spring author event, which will be held at Mooncusser's Tavern. And that will be a late morning breakfast buffet. We tried to do something just a little bit different. And that is going to be a talk by a local author. So Claire, do you want to fill everybody in?
Right, we have Robin Farnsworth coming, and she is a resident of Cape Cod, a registered nurse at Cape Cod Hospital, and her book is called The Greater Weight of Glory. And it is the story of how she dealt with and rose above the tragic loss of her son, which is a very uplifting story of forgiveness and just finding joy in her life. We're trying this year to feature a local author, and this is Robin's first book, but she has a great story to tell. So we're hoping that people will come and support Chase and support her.
Yeah.
Sounds like a different but really good event that we're
Well, it'd be
planning.
great to meet another Cape Cod author.
Right.
Won't it?
Yes.
It really will. So if you are interested in attending that breakfast buffet, again, that's a Wednesday, May 16th at Mooncusser's Tavern, late morning breakfast buffet with Robin Farnsworth. Call the library to reserve a ticket. The library's phone number is 508-432-2610, and we will get your name on a list. We can't guarantee your seat until your reservation is paid. It will be $30 for the breakfast and the author. And if you really enjoy Robin, then I'm certain she will have her books for sale that day. If you care to pick one up, and they are not all that expensive. Generally, I think it's not on the back here, but usually a paperback of this size is about $15, $16, you know, so it doesn't put it out of anybody's range, I don't think.
And the cost of the event is, I have to say, extremely reasonable.
And that's what we were
a
hoping.
breakfast
Right.
and a wonderful author's talk.
Thank you, thank you. That's what we were trying for.
Oh,
is
yes.
To make it something that's
Very
affordable
accessible.
to anyone,
Yep.
you know. So we're
It's a
looking
great
forward
deal.
to that.
Yes.
And it sounds
Thanks.
like a great
Thanks,
day.
Dinah.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so anything in the far offing that you want to
Well,
tease us with?
as we're looking towards summer, which I guess we're going to have to do, we are looking forward to taking collections of books for our book sale at our annual jumble sale, which will be July 5th from 9 to 1 at Chase Library, inside and out. We spread out our goods. So we're looking for donations of books. We're hoping for newer books. We were saying 2014 or later in terms of books that you donate. We take paperbacks, hardcovers. You can bring them to the library during open hours, which is Tuesday 10 to 4 and Saturday 10 to 2. We're also looking for some small household items for our yard sale that day. Those also can be brought to the library, but I would make a phone call to us first on those to see if we have a place to store them just yet. But we're looking forward to that. We also are having crafters, the village crafters, do a series of craft shows during the summer, and they donate some of the proceeds. They donate the vendor fees to various local nonprofits, and on August 2nd, they are doing their fair for Chase Library. And we will be having a book sale there with them that day. And also, we've been invited to join them on July 9th and August 16th to be having a book sale, and that will be at Doan Park.
Doan Park. The Village Crafters have their craft shows at Doan Park. And in July, when we're there, that is to benefit the Family Pantry. In August 2nd, it's to benefit Chase, and August 16th, it's for the Harwich Historical Society. So, and we've been asked to sell books at all three, which is really exciting. And last year we sold a lot of books, which is wonderful.
That's
you know.
great. Yeah,
And some
yeah.
were people who were visiting, and some were people who live here. But we do look for donations of books because you know, ours is a small library, so we call our collection all the time, and we can only have a certain number of, you know, books for sale all year round. But when we're preparing for something like this, we're willing to box them up and keep them in our garages if we have to.
Right.
Which brings me to another point about the jumble sale. If you know, we look for transportable items, clearly, to sell at the jumble sale that are in good condition. But if anyone were to have something larger that they would like to donate, one year we had a patio set, we had a set of matching carpets, we had some larger chairs. So if you have really decent condition, things like that, that you feel you could donate to the library for as part of our fundraising event, Dan and I have a truck, and we will talk to you and perhaps pick it up from you and keep it in the garage until the day of the sale.
The consummate volunteer.
Oh, I know, he'll die when when he sees this.
It's kind of a 2-for-1 with those two. He's really great with the truck and the. While we're speaking of donations, I will put out a plug for book donations of children's books. We found last summer that they were our biggest seller when we were at our fairs. So if your grandkids have grown up and you've got those nice books still sitting around the house, we'd love to have them as donations.
Right.
Yes, I'm sure many grandparents who are here on the Cape who are hosting their grandchildren would appreciate that.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Sounds great.
Yep. And I think there's one last thing that we might want to mention. We had received requests, actually, to open the back room of the library for an open mahjong afternoon, which we did, and it was quite successful last summer. And then it dwindled down, and we really didn't see anybody during the winter, which is, you know, you can kind of guess why, because it's cold and miserable and no one wants to go out. So the interest in that has waned. If there's anyone out there who's interested in, you know, having an open mahjong group, who knows of some folks who might be willing to attend on Tuesday afternoons, call the library and let us know, and we'll get that up and running again. It's always available. So.
Okay, good to know that that space is available for such a thing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
maybe the summer will bring more people for that.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Well, very
So,
good.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again for coming and telling us all about the wonderful things you're doing at the library. It's always a treat to go over there and also to attend any of their events. So come on down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.